Great Thursday evening, May 6th, 2021. To God be the glory for the closing of another beautiful opportunity to just experience His joy, His blessings, His faithfulness, His supply. And I just read something about Solomon in 1Kings4, 29 and 30. Remember, Solomon asked for wisdom. He could have asked for riches. We were talking about that. Wealth. He could have asked for longevity as far as strength in his body, health. But he asked for understanding. And because of that, the Lord said, oh, you can have a bonus because you were not selfish. You were not wrapped up in health and wealth and prosperity and woo, all this stuff. Because you wanted to be able to judge with discretion and prudence and insight and foresight, I'm going to bless you. And it says in the 29th and 30th verse that the Lord made his mind like as vast as the sand on a seashore. Just picture that. You remember being in Ghana near the ocean and just all the rocks and the gravel. Just think about that. That's how vast his mind was. And don't you know that the Lord will give that to his children? How do we live beneath our privilege and think beneath our privilege and operate way beneath our privilege? I listened to someone yesterday and they were talking about how we've heard these numbers before, how we have like between 80 and 90,000 thoughts. But I've heard 10,000 thoughts a day, whatever. It's in the thousands. But they said that 85% of those thoughts are negative. Okay? So only 15% of those are either neutral or positive. So we're constantly beating ourselves up all day. Now listen to this. This is something. Now, this person worked with a neuroscience lab in brain development and talking about the dendrites and the synapses and everything. They said that 80 to 85% of our thoughts are negative, and 90% of the 80 to 85% of the thoughts are repeats. So that means that we're saying the same things in our mind day after day after day. Nothing new, nothing fresh. Isn't that something? So if we are hitting replay on those negative thoughts from the day before and then the week before and the month before, where do we go? We're stuck. We're in an abyss of our own self-defeating tunnel. So then we can never climb out, and then we wonder why we can't accomplish the things that God has set for us. That's why it's so important for us to renew our mind. The mind is so powerful. It says that the Lord gave Solomon wisdom and keen insight and a mind as limitless as a seashore. And Solomon's wisdom was greater than all of the Eastern people and all the wisdom of the Egyptians. He was wiser than anyone. Don't you know, when you are twice born and you're a child of the king, you're a prince, you are royalty. Don't you know that there is nothing we cannot do when we have his way of thinking? So when we are confronted with those destructive suggestions of thoughts, we're to do what I believe what 2 Corinthians 10:5 says. To take hold of those thoughts and arrest them, put handcuffs on those thoughts and arrest them and pull down those imaginations and bring everything into subjection to the will of God. Oh, come on. This is so important because you can look up and we have spent 90% of our lives in jail of our mind because we can't escape. And that's that. What do you have to say about that, Timotheus? Well, the mind is a powerful element, and we want to be able to do God's will. It says in 2 Corinthians 10, 4 and 5, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Not the guns, not the whatever out here, knives, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, those thoughts that are beating you up or plaguing you day and night. You pull them down, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself, that means opposite, against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity. Like I said, put those handcuffs on, arrest those thoughts. Every thought to the obedience of Christ. Then Philippians 4:8, whatsoever things are true, honest, just, pure, lovely, and a good report. If there's any praise, any virtue, think of those things, meditate on those things. You have anything from either 1Kings 4 or Proverbs 6? Well, Proverbs 6, we're to look to the ant. You know, ant, we might think that they have the like tiniest brain. Like what? Why would we look at an ant? But look, they had enough sense to get to work, to do the will of God, because they don't have an overseer, they don't have a boss, they don't have a manager looking over them, but they have enough sense to provide their meat in the summer and gather their food in the harvest. So we might need to just follow that example and look at their actions. It doesn't matter the size of the brain. Let's do what the Lord would have us to do. Have a good evening serving the Lord.